Whistler was the epicenter of snowboarding. Was this one big epic, I need to go there.
It just felt like more, like bigger and more.
Yeah, I dropped everything and moved out here the fall of 2001.
So that I could ski a more stable snowpack and bigger mountains.
Because the backcountry access is incredible.
You can't beat the insane amount of snowfall.
When I really fell in love with snowboarding was when I moved to Whistler.
Being able to be on top of a mountain and seeing the ocean and seeing how the ocean affects this landscape and how my people learned how to survive and thrive on the ocean, but then also in the mountains. I think that's what makes me an ocean and mountain lover. I think the mountains on the Coast Range are super unique, and if someone hasn't been here before, when you start in Squamish, they just pop out of the ocean, out of nowhere, and the vertical relief is insane.
Kind of out of a Dr. Seuss book, honestly. Like, you look around at some of these places, like Brandywine Ice Cap, and you see, you know, pyroclastic on the backside, and it's just these gigantic spires of kind of horrible rock. And there's all kinds of fluted spine walls and crazy dollop pillows in the wintertime. And in the summer, it's all like gorgeous alpine meadows and nice lakes and huge old growth trees that are all twisted and gnarled, and it's kind of out of a fairy tale.
It's an amazing mecca for snow sports, but it's also an incredible area to go biking and climbing.
It's that connection to the ocean. It's this amazing mountain range. It's this great snowpack. It's the people. It's everything, the energy. It's the combination of all the things that makes this area special.
Literally, in my opinion, the most beautiful place in the entire world.
A super diverse mountain range, but what you can expect to see out here is lots of glaciers, big peaks.
Once you get out there and realize it's like pretty humbling.
So this region is characterized by a pretty complex and diverse geological setting, and that's all to do with the tectonics that we see here. So the collision of two plates and that subduction activity means we get faulting and cracking, and the peaks and our more kind of granitic settings. And then we have these ancient lava flows which have created these overlying sediment layers. We've got a load of sediment transport from the glaciers, but also the rivers that they have created. So all of these kind of different sedimentary rocks are also building up, and we get these distinctive layers and features. But volcanism is, I would say, in probably my biased opinion, that volcanism has really shaped this area.
This mountain range is incredibly old, and so the glaciers have rounded these mountains off over millions of years. It's this dual aspect of, like, they're very rounded off mountains, which creates this easy accessibility, but then there's all these like amazing steep faces around. So there seems to be always a way to access a mountain and then find a nice steep north face to hit.
I think the uniqueness comes from not only the mountains and how they were formed, because a lot of them are volcanic, but also just the snowpack. Even though it's the same mountains you're going out in every year, they form up a little bit different, and you can add your own like little creative spin to them.
You can keep going further and further, and I've been here for 20 years and I still haven't gotten sick of the mountains. By now, I feel like I should have, but there's just so much to explore that it's never ending.
You could live here multiple lives and you're like just touching the surface of possibility. It's like literally so endless.
These kind of mountains, they seem really impervious to change. They seem really stoic and unmoving. But what we at Joffre was the culmination of the massive retreat of ice caps and glaciers around the world, but particularly here in the Coast Mountains. And so glaciers act as big bits of sandpaper on mountains, and they rub up and down them, and that process creates a lot of erosion. It creates a lot of cracks and faults and fissures within the rock mass. And so as we then transition to a climate which is becoming more extreme, so here in BC we're seeing really hot, intense summers and then really cold snaps in the winter and lots of accumulation. And then we're seeing rapid warming in the spring, so the accelerated loss of the snowpack. And all of these factors play together. So you have these periods of freeze-thaw weathering within the rock mass. So you've got this fissure, which is being created by that glacial retreat or those stresses. And then the meltwater percolates deep within that rock mass and freezes and refreezes, and it expands that crack over periods of time, which could be days to weeks to years to millennia. And at Joffre, what was particularly scary is there was no single trigger to the two events which caused that couloir to disappear. But still what we saw was on 2 days, so the 13th and the 16th of May, we saw about 2.5 to 3 million on each day cubic meters of rock that just disintegrated and fell and traveled at speeds of well over 100 kilometers an hour. So the entire pathway was about 6 kilometers, and that would have happened in minutes. As the world changes and as these mountains fall and flux, there will be more things for us to enjoy. There'll be more boulders in low-lying areas. There will be this change which can be really positive and really fun, but there will also be a real shift in the safety of these areas, and there'll be a point at which glaciers will never be able to fully recover. So once they're gone, they may be gone for at least the rest of our time as humans on this earth.
I hope that as this place continues to grow and more people start to move here, completely understandably because it's an incredible place to live, that we can keep that relationship healthy so that we can take care of this place.
Out here it's like this really fleeting moment of amazingness, and you just have to be ready because it is just this finite resource in terms of stability, powder, sun, good crew. If you can harness all of those factors and spend a day out there, I think it's pretty unparalleled and the most special thing you can do in your life.